Good evening, everyone. It's Monday, February 2nd, 2026, and the Bel Air Beach City Council meeting will now come to order. Prayer is given tonight by Vice Mayor Roberts.
Thank you, Mayor. Heavenly Father, thank you for another wonderful day in Bel Air Beach. We are all so blessed to live in this beautiful city. Tonight, we want to thank you for last year's calm hurricane season for our state and more specifically for our city. Father, we still may have neighbors who are dealing with issues from our previous storms. We pray tonight that you will help them to continue to restore their homes and find normalcy in their daily lives. As always, Father, we pray that you provide us the wisdom that our council needs tonight to properly address the items on tonight's agenda. More importantly, Father, help us to make decisions that please you. We love you, Father, and we thank you for being with us tonight. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Vice Mayor Roberts. Now, everyone rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Frank Bankert.
Present.
Councilmember Kimberly Shaw Elliott. Councilmember Todd Harper.
Present.
Councilmember Jody Shirley. Here. Councilmember Anders Wellings.
Here.
Vice Mayor Lloyd Roberts.
Here?
Mayor Dave Gaddis.
Here.
City Manager Kyle Riefler.
Here.
City Attorney Tom Trask.
Here. Thank you, Kathy. Now we are up for our first roll on the agenda, which is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion? Motion is made by Frank Banker. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Shirley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the agenda is approved. Now we have a presentation from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. Up first is the Law Enforcement Monthly Report.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sergeant Brian Williams. Currently, we have no new activity to report. If you do notice in the packets that you do have for November and December 2025, there does appear to be a coding error where it's listed under 2025 and November 2025 year-to-date. If you look, they're actually the exact same numbers, and that does appear to be a coding error. So I'm going to follow up with Casey Taylor in our strategic planning division tomorrow, just to clarify that that was in fact a coding error. I have nothing new to justify those numbers being there. With regards to last month, the only activity that I have are traffic-related misdemeanors and one felony traffic-related misdemeanor, traffic-related arrest. Other than that, I have no new activity to report.
Thank you, Sergeant. Any questions or comments from the council? All right, Sergeant, whenever you are able to get that information, would you email the city manager so he can pass it along?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
All right, thank you so much for being here tonight. All right, up next is code enforcement.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Appreciate you having me. For the code enforcement, we've had a easy month this month. We had 34 new cases. I had 23 follow-ups, 32 closed cases, and we currently have 34 open cases. Those open cases are in reference to everything that we have out there, which is either obnoxious trees. It also includes the rental registrations that I've told you about in the past that we're still working through. We are getting some compliance on those, but we're still working through a lot of those. Other than that, we're working basically just going around the city. We're addressing some of the noxious trees, a few lawns, believe it or not, that are getting a little overgrown yet. We've had a few issues with a lot of the construction going on, just simple nuisances like the silt fences and making sure the gutters are staying cleaned up, and I've had pretty good compliance, contacting the general contractors with helping me with that. We did have a little bit with the wind and everything else this last weekend. I've already made several contacts today, and repairs are underway, trying to get any silt fence down or any of that. Any other questions?
Council? No? All right, thanks for being here tonight, Deputy. Appreciate the report.
Thank you, sir.
All right, up next is a presentation from the Pinellas Suncoast Fire and Rescue District.
Good evening. My name is Todd Best. I'm the Deputy Chief of the Suncoast Fire and Rescue District. Chief Grimes is out of town this week and asked me if I would come give the presentation for him tonight. Pinellas Suncoast Fire and Rescue ran 279 calls district-wide in the month of January. Those calls break down to 228 EMS calls and 51 fire-related calls. Particularly 16 of those calls were in Bel Air Beach, breaking down to 9 EMS and 7 fire-related calls. Other projects going on in the district, storm route repairs are nearly complete with Station 27. We too are still recovering from the hurricane. We expect that that will be done by the end of the week. And we are currently going to bid for flood protection barriers for that station in the future. And we are optimistic that FEMA will actually fund that with their mitigation program. Station 28 on the mainland is scheduled to be raised by the end of the week. And we expect construction to take approximately 1 year for completion in January of 2027. And last month, your firefighters continue to train regularly. They've accumulated 1,330 hours of training collectively in the month of January, including participation in a countywide high-rise fire drill. They also completed continuing medical education for January that focused on the care of geriatric patients. And with that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Council, any questions? No? All right. Well, thank you for being here tonight. I
Thanks,
appreciate
sir.
it. And for the record, did Councilmember Elliott just come in?
About 5 minutes.
About 5 minutes ago? I missed you. What time was that?
6:03.
Okay, thank you. All right, now we are up to the city attorney report.
Just want to let you know that Friday afternoon I had received the comments back on the draft interlocal agreement with the town of Bel Air Shore. When it came in on Friday, it did not specifically show all the requested changes in Word format. As I mentioned in my email to you earlier today, we're going to provide that Word format to the other attorney so he can add and subtract the language that they're suggesting to be considered by the council. I'm hoping that the next day or so we'll have that information for you, but I did, if you haven't seen your emails, they did provide you with the comments as, as they currently appear.
All right, any questions or comments for the city attorney? Yes.
Go ahead. I was just going to ask for clarification. I read the document today, so the document we read with the strikeouts today was the document prior to Bel Air Shores offering any feedback?
That was the interlocal agreement that Randy prepared a couple of years ago and provided it to them.
Okay.
And they reviewed it again. I provided it to them again in November. Actually, I made them aware of the email when it was sent in November. And they've been reviewing it since November to make these suggested changes.
So are the cross-offs in the document you sent today, what was their suggested cross-offs?
Yes, that's correct.
So they have additional changes to add?
Yes, they have language to add.
Okay, thank you. I just need to clarify.
Okay.
Councilmember Baker?
I don't see anything in the document for like recouping costs if one of the parties breaks this agreement. Like, we have to go to court, they have to go to court against us. Should there be something in there about court costs and attorney fees recoup?
So to answer your question, we can obviously provide additional language to them. That was not in the original agreement. We'll address that once we get their final comments. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a negotiation going forward. So,
Okay. And what I'd like to do is not hash this out in a council meeting. I'd rather take it to a work session because I'm sure there'll be plenty of strike-throughs and comments and lots of opinion on how to handle this. So I want to get buy-in from everyone. Anyone else? Nope. All right. Thank you very much, Tom. All right. Now we are up to the city manager report. Kyle.
Thank you. So 22nd Street Bridge Repair Project, we have the work authorization and it's underway. The deadline is going to be July 24th, but we're looking more like the May work session to have the report on that. And we have the bids back for the 8th Street rehabilitation project. We're going to go over that as an agenda item. The code review project is ongoing. We had the work session last month. Got through a lot of the chapters up to the last chapter, 94, which is the longest. But I also want to remind council that we still also have that sign code, which we started prior to the overall review. So that's chapter 86, and I plan on bringing that back to the work session as well. And it's also the time that we said we want to look at the strategic plan a little bit earlier this year. So I have that scheduled for the 23rd. So it'll probably be a pretty busy one. We'll see how much we can get through. And then the underground project is now, as you can see, conduit's going in on phase 2. So we're making progress. We had another successful meeting with Duke after the Big C. And I got my first bill in a long time from UCF, which will give us enough to make our last penny for Pinellas reimbursement claim, get the rest of that money. We've been collecting the survey results. We're up to, I got a total of 176. That's pretty good for us. In the past when we've tried to survey all the population, getting from like 125 to 150 is pretty good, so 176 is even better. The stormwater improvement project is officially closed out. We worked through our last punch list items with a slight adjustment for as long as for annual inflation, for as long as the project went out, which wasn't very much at all. And we worked out that the small cracking was not anything that needed to be adjusted at this point. So that is wrapped up. Complete project closeout. And then hurricane recovery, I am following up my code violation notices. I went from 12 to 8. So I'm getting down. I want to see where I get to by the end of the month. Got some properties that are trying to be sold, and then some others just working through different situations. I want to show one other item here. Share my screen. Okay. So, we've been looking at alternative streetlight solar options, for our citywide lighting program. This is another one I've come across. It's a much better setup and design than we previously have been using over at Bellevue Estate Island. One of the best parts about this design is that solar panel on top and control box that sits right on top of the pole. That is an all-in-one piece. So anytime any parts need to be changed out, they send the complete piece to the staff, and we render proper equipment to get up there. But it's a quick change out. It's a whole different situation than the current solar cells that you have to go down into. You got to pull the batteries out. A lot of times to do some work on the batteries. So this is it's an affordable option. The technology's improved quite a bit. I'm showing you the one design. There's 4 different designs. This one is just one of their, a little bit more to it. Doesn't look like just a standard street light, just to kind of see if we like the look. But my plan was if we want to test this product, they gave me a, so these go for 1 unit, goes for about $4,300 $36. And then the gateway is an additional $1,000, but the gateway gets hooked up to one light, but what that does is it provides you control for up to 30 lights within a mile from wherever that light is. So my plan would be to test this new product, which I think is promising from what I've seen so far, and to test it right out there at the end of the cul-de-sac, Bayside Park, because it's a very dark area. When he drafted up the proposal, he mapped out kind of, this is where it would be right there. Let's see if I can zoom in. And so it'll be right outside our window. We can look at it for the meetings. And then that's roughly the light coverage it will provide.
Now, without the gateway, do you have any control over it, or is it all manual?
It would all be manual. I don't even know how we would set it. I imagine something from the factory and then pop in if you didn't have a gateway access.
Yeah, it seems like what we had to play with them a bit to get the temperature and the intensity correct.
But I mean, it looks good. I definitely would like to test the product, watch it for a bit of time, see how it holds up, because our other solar lights, just over a year or two, like once we got into using them, we started seeing maintenance problems increase. So this is an alternative. So I didn't want to proceed into ordering, even though it's not, a high threshold of cost. Given that, this is a capital project and something that we're talking about, strategic planning, I wanted to get the council's consensus on this.
Well, I'm actually happy to hear that we're getting to test one if we decide to try them out.
Right.
That's a good thing. Council, thoughts on this? One solar light?
I think it's a great idea. We need to come up with some source of lighting. I know that's part of our strategic planning, is to do lighting throughout the city. I don't think we got that opportunity with the other ones we put in one of the neighborhoods, and it's really a smart idea to have it here where you can control it and test it and see if it works. And it's a very small investment when we're looking at the entire city.
I agree. Anyone on this side? Yes?
Great.
Vice Mayor, not?
I do.
Others?
Yeah, I'm very interested in solar lighting. I guess if I had solar in my house, I have a solar battery. I'm curious what other options you looked at. Maybe I'm brand new to this topic, it seems like here. So
I've seen
I'd
some.
love to talk to you about some other
This is the
what
best.
options you look at.
This is the best I've seen personally.
Okay.
But if you have any other models that you'd like me to look at, I'd compare.
Yeah.
Now, I am curious, do we have lighting out there now, correct?
There's none
Whatsoever.
There's a Sanibel right on that corner. But then outside of that, it's dark.
Okay.
Tennis courts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Are there any motion sensitive options?
I'm sure there are. Yeah, I'm sure there are.
Because one of the things I struggle with is that it is a park and we have animals that live there and we want to preserve whatever nature we can. And maybe there's not a need to have light burning there unless something's there, a car or a person that wants to use the area. So we might consider motion sensitive lighting.
The only problem that I would think, the problem it would create by having a motion sensor is it wouldn't be motion sensor enough. Say if somebody's out there hanging out on the beach and they're wanting to come in, that light's not going to come on until they get near the pole. And so now we've got, they're pitching around in the dark until they get there. That's really the only thoughts I have on it with motion, but
I'll ask
what
options there are.
Nice to have options anyway.
And I think my understanding is to test the light. And so if that's a feature on it, certainly we can test it when it's there. So that's, one of the nice things about buying one and seeing how it works.
Yeah, I'd like to, at one of the meetings or work session, just demo it for council.
All right. Any other comments on that?
It is another good thing about these that they're direct burial. And then to install this first one, the sales rep's going to come out, tell us what equipment we need to rent and supervise the install. So it is something that the staff can put these in. Obviously with permitting, but the previous lights we had, they used an auger and had the drill pretty deep. These only require to go 5 feet in the ground, and you use, a skid attachment or a 2-person handheld auger to get down there. But when they were doing the BEI solars, they hit quite a lot of gas lines and other utilities, so it does pose a problem.
Yeah. One other thing that you might check into is if they have any turtle-safe versions.
Yeah, I know he did mention amber lighting, and they have some other options for beach side.
All right. Got anything else?
That is all.
All right. Any questions or comments for the city manager?
Yeah, maybe one. There's a sign that still is there. One of the houses has that AAA, roof down, and they've got a really big sign there, and it's been up there for, I don't know, probably 6-7 months. Can we reinforce it? Just get these signs down? I mean, it's an empty lot house. It's on 7th at pretty much on the corner by golf homes.
Well, we have signed code, but we haven't put out.
That's what I was gonna say, can we say it? Can we do much of anything? If they refuse to take it down, we can't.
No, but I think we just ask. It looks like advertising for the AAA company. It's not something the owner wants there, I don't believe.
There's also part of the statute that talks about signage is allowed during an open contract, so you got to find the status of the contract too, because they did the demolition.
It's been months and months since the demolition was done. Demolished.
Know what to do.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're up to citizen comments. Each speaker will be recognized for 3 minutes. I'm sorry? City clerk? Oh. No, you come later.
I'm
We'll
okay
go
with that.
ahead and do your report now. What do you have, Kathy?
I have nothing unusual to report, just council meetings. We had a Board of Adjustment with 4 variance hearings, meeting minutes, public record request, and I've been working with Chair Patty Roberts, Park and Rec, working on the health and wellness fair to come in March.
Okay. Questions or comments for the city clerk? Thank you, Kathy. Now we'll go to citizen comments. Each speaker is recognized for up to 3 minutes. Whenever you come up to the podium, please give us your name and address. And remember that the council does not respond immediately to your questions or comments, but they are all given the opportunity later in the meeting. If something pertains to the city manager, he may or may not respond to your comments, but I'm hoping that he will. That being said, do we have anyone that would like to speak tonight? Yes, please come right on up.
Good evening on this nice, fresh, cold morning or evening. It has come to some of our attention that a survey or canvassing or voting of some sort has taken place in the last several weeks for some of the property owners. And in this happening, the 3 choices were presented to the property owners. I'm not sure what all they were, because I didn't get one. Why were some of the property owners excluded? The absentee owners and those property owners nearest this building, the ones most directly affected by the proposal regarding the fire department or fire truck, or they didn't receive any of the survey or questionnaire or canvassing, whatever it was. And why was not a mail survey done? And I'm not quite sure what was even in this. And were the procedures followed in canvassing the select population? And is there any reason why some of the population was eliminated from this happening? Regarding the fire truck or fire station or firehouse, I'd like to have some answers, and I'd like to find out also what part of the code for Bel Air Beach is volumes and volumes, and what part of the code addresses surveying the population. Thank you for your consideration in answering these questions.
Thank you. I'm sorry, ma'am, I forgot to tell you, I need your name and address.
Eileen Woodside, 501 Causeway Boulevard. I live directly across the street.
Just for the record, thank you very much. Do we have any other speakers tonight? Yes. Please come up.
Deborah Mall, 115 Causeway Boulevard. I'm here tonight to oppose the temporary fire station at 1001 Cedar. I don't believe we need it, and I believe it will be extremely expensive for the residents of Bel Air Beach. If the House is approved for the fire station use, these are my questions. It was stated that this city, which would be us, would pay for the repairs from insurance money from Helene. After a 2-year rental period, which is what was circulated and spoken about at the last meeting with the fire chief, it appears that now maybe it'll only be 1, because if the station is going to be done in a year. Who is going to pay to restore the house back so that it could be sold as a single-family dwelling again? And where are we going to store all the vehicles and supplies that are currently stored at 1001 Cedar? Are the taxpayers going to have to pay to build a storage unit in the parking lot somewhere or rent one? We used to have one. The corner of the parking lot where the fire truck will be parked is very dark. We will also have to pay for increased lighting in that dark corner and the back of the house, because that's the path that the firefighters are going to take to get to the fire truck. I'm sure that the neighbors on Cedar aren't going to be thrilled about that. And I also want to know who will pay to remove those lights once the fire station moves out of there. Birds and different things are affected by light, as we all know. I just don't believe that we're being good neighbors to those residents back there. If you approve the use of 1001 Cedar for a temporary fire station, you propose not charging the fire department rent. I really take issue with this. I look back at our most recent tax bill. The fire department received $256 in millage rate and $360 in a non-ad valorem assessment. That's a total of $616 that they got from the Mall household. And the city of Bel Air Beach received $781 from my tax bill. So I just find that ridiculous that we would not charge them rent when they're getting so much more, almost the same as our city is getting. According to the new fire chief, our firefighters work 12-hour shifts. So do many of the doctors and nurses who live in our community and work at the hospitals just across the bridge, not to mention our own sheriffs here. They don't get bedrooms to rest in or a fancy kitchen. They get a break room with maybe a few cots to share. I don't understand why our fire department would need bedrooms and a fancy kitchen that's paid for by taxpayers. What guarantee do we have that this will be short-term, whether it's 1 year or 2 years? If they get it rent-free, what would be their motivation to ever vacate the building? What guarantees do the citizens have that this will not go on past a year or two, so that our citizens who live on that street and adjoining streets will be able to recoup their loss on property values from that fire station?
Ms. Small, wrap it up. It's 3 minutes.
Okay.
I'll yield my time to you.
Thank you.
Ken Blanchard's 1021 Palm Drive.
All right, thank you.
Right across the street.
The biggest threat to our citizens from an emergency services perspective is not really fire, it's cardiac events and strokes. The temporary fire station will only be able to respond with basic life support, but can't transport residents to the hospital. They do not carry and cannot administer DPA for strokes. They can do CPR until EMS arrives. So until if or when we get EMS support, the station really isn't going to shorten the time for a resident to get to a hospital or critical care for a cardiac event or stroke. And I think that's more the critical issue for our residents here. And also the fire chief stated that the EMS trucks are positioned by the county through an AI program that places them at different places based on calls and things that they get. Response time will not really be improved by this temporary station. We already get great response time from Largo and St. Key. The issue in our city is getting to the fingers in our city during the season when Gulf Boulevard's bumper to bumper in both directions. A fire truck at City Hall won't help that. Fire trucks can get over the bridge into Gulf easily because of the wide lanes. That's not the case on Gulf Boulevard. A fire station on Cedar won't fix that problem. Very few of you were around in 2005 when the city bought the house on Cedar. It was purchased to use as a temporary city hall until a new one was built. Yet 20 years later, we still have that property. It's a crazy expensive storage unit for our city. And I think that the $500,000 or so that we could sell it for could well be used in other ways by our city. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Do we have others that would like to speak tonight? Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Roger Mall at 115 Causeway also. Wow, she did a miraculous job. And Dave, thank you for considering the turtles. Most people miss that. That was I just want to bring up a little bit. All of you have received an email from me when this first came up when a new fire chief was looking at this expansion. And I personally don't trust the guy because the first thing he did is he tried, without anybody knowing it, to go and purchase that house that's in. And then he even tried to hide it from you guys, and it all came out in the meeting that Dave, you were nice enough to bring to the attention a few weeks ago, where he said that, yeah, I did do that. I mean, at least he owned it up and said that he had been doing some things. So that was very unprofessional, and it makes me doubt his objectives. And so I personally think he's pretty much of a narcissistic personality because he wants to expand the fire control for himself more than anything. Because the letter that I wrote to you basically was stating that the new form of delivering advanced care in the fire departments is to have emergency response units, because we've gotten pretty good at fire control. We have all sorts of safety alarms and so forth. But what we don't do a great job on is getting to some of the outlying areas for getting cardiac control. And so emotionally, he would pronounce, oh, we want to save people's lives, but he's not doing it the most effective way because it's very expensive for a fire truck. It's my understanding it's upward of $500,000 just for a single fire truck. And then it has to be manned with the station with 4 people. And what the model is throughout the country, where they're all going to with imagined emergency responses, is a 2-unit, which basically are paramedics in a truck. And how you house them, it's more like what you would do in a hospital, but you would place them in areas where they're trying to serve the communities that are at risk. And so I have great service right now for fire, because I know Eileen, who spoke earlier, she's had to call the emergency people in the past, and it takes them about 5 minutes to get here. And so we're within that window where we get incredible care. But if you're on the far end up by Sand Key and those fingers that are out there, there's a good chance you're going to die. And so my objective is, because I've been in healthcare my whole life, is to get as fast a response as I can. A fire truck is meant. A small paramedic truck is going to be way cheaper, and it's going to save people's lives. And so if you're up on 5th Streets, and if you're up on the northern section, all those fingers out there, I want to see a lift. And the way to make that happen is to use a paramedic service. Now, it doesn't have to be the one we have now. The fire department can fund their own thing, which would be about 1/5 the price of having an actual station built. But if we really want to get to our residents and get them good health care, we're going to look at having paramedic teams, not fire trucks. And right now, the Ford model with a big fire engine with a paramedic follow-on is not the right model. So I'm just saying, let's look at the model that works. And I got all my information off AI, so it doesn't have any bias politically. I'm just, trying to help you out to find, let's get good paramedic care to the people on the fingers and the north and south areas of the city. Great, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mall. Do we have anyone else that would like to speak tonight?
Good evening, Council. My name is Samantha Millay, and I'm the District Aide for our representative, Kimberly Burfield. Kimberly Burfield is the Florida State House of Representatives representative for District 58, which encompasses Clearwater, Dunedin, Indian Rocks, and all the Bel Airs. And I wanted to come here and introduce myself and let you know that we're a resource not only for you in the city, but for your residents and our constituents. Our offices are located in Clearwater off of Belcher Road. And what my job as a district aide is navigating people through different state resources. So if you have residents that are struggling with unemployment benefits, veterans benefits, maybe SNAP benefits, you can always send them our way if they've exhausted other resources, as well as navigating anything else that might want to be elevated to the state level or a place where we can have additional resources outside of the city. So just wanted to introduce myself to you all and to your residents and say hello, and I have business cards if you'd like them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Millay. Any other speakers tonight? Citizen comments? All right, seeing as we have no more, citizen comments are now closed. City Manager Riefler, you are up for follow-up.
Yes, so the idea of the handouts were to just survey the residents, and we wanted to get everybody locally, especially in the nearby facility where we're proposing to possibly use as a temporary fire station. But yeah, I will provide that to you as soon as tomorrow, because we do want your feedback. When noticed, someone told us that not everyone may have gotten one. We just asked if they reached out directly to us so that they could get one. But we intended to have everyone covered by that survey. We do have code that addresses canvassing and soliciting and peddling. There are exemptions for canvassing, but there's no specific code to exactly how the city performs canvassing. But yes, I'd be happy to figure that out. The purpose of the prepaid mailers were to try to give an easy way for residents to voice their opinion. We did not mail them out because we tried to save on costs. We tried to hand out the door hangers, but then have all the prepaid postage on those. So it was a little over between $500 and $1,000 to do that, but it could have cost us about twice as much if we mailed them all too. So I didn't have the staff to do it all in-house, so we did ask for help from the firefighters, and they volunteered to distribute them. And to my knowledge, they distribute every door in Bel Air Beach. But again, if you did not get one or you know anyone who has not gotten one, we'd be happy to provide that immediately for you.
Do we have any type of a report or a map showing where they did deliver them to?
I can ask them for a general description of how it was done.
I think it'd be important to get that, and then also whenever we distribute more for whoever is missing, maybe we could streamline the process if they just want to call City Hall and give their name and what their vote would be. There was a question about what was on the ballot. Would you mind explaining that?
Again, yes, there was 3 questions. The first question was, so it's all to do with what the final outcome of the House of one-seater is. And we originally had 2. Do you want to use it as a temporary fire station, or to just continue to use for city use only? But then in the initial questions that we were offering the community, a lot of people were asking why haven't we sold it, and it was brought up about the history of supposedly we were supposed to sell it, and then the bubble burst and we had a recession, and they decided it was better to wait longer. So I added that question as selling the property, just to feel out the overall community. we see what the results are. I don't, I just wanted to make sure that the majority of the city did not feel that selling it was the option. So I'm glad that we put that in there, but that's the reason behind the 3 different options.
All right.
And then another thing is that everything that's being proposed right now is just what the council asked the chief to send the city. So it's just a proposal. Nothing is finalized. I think they're just trying to understand more opinions to make a decision to work out an agreement.
Yeah, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I believe that the majority of the council would vote for this. However, I have been very firm on making sure that we did survey the city and we got everyone's opinion, not just the opinion of the immediate residents. So that was the purpose of sending the survey out. I'm not really surprised at the outcome so far, but if our results are incomplete because people did not receive ballots, I want to make sure that they're in their hands or they have a means of coming here or calling and casting their vote. And that's all I have on that right now.
Do we have a particular time frame or deadline we want to set for when the ballots should be in by, like February or something like that? It's just so you've got to find a window.
Yeah, I was actually hoping we would be finished by now, but I would say I think it would be fair enough to say by the next council meeting. So it would be at the beginning of next month. Is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
That's fair. All right, yes.
I don't know if you would know, or Kyle would know, I'm sure the guy in the white shirt would know. If there's a call down by Harrison or the Fingers, okay, you got 4th Avenue and Indian Rocks Beach, does Santee respond to that call because of traffic issues? Because maybe this could resolve some of the...
So Pinellas County operates what's called an automatic gate system, which means that basically for EMS and fire responses, all district boundaries are erased, and you get through GPS the closest unit to your call. So you'll find that Pinellas Suncoast runs sometimes into Seminole or Largo. Clearwater and Largo will run into Pinellas Suncoast, into the far north end of our district because they're closer to us. So the system's really set up to provide the best quality service without small town boundaries affecting that.
So I have a fire, it just goes through a GPS area, closest person services it.
Yeah, you'll closest for a fire, you'll get the closest 3 engines, closest ladder truck, squad, and district commander.
And the same as I'm having a heart attack?
Same as if you're having a heart attack, yeah. So if a unit were moved up here to Bel Air, it would geographically be closer to these residents and it would be dispatched to these residents.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments?
Yes, one point of clarification for our city attorney. My understanding is that if we, as a city, wish to sell any city-owned property, that requires a vote of our citizens. Is that correct?
I can look at the charter. I don't have that memorized, but maybe think about a charter. But that's correct.
That's my understanding also. And if so, there's an expense with an election. The first one that would come up would be this fall. And so that's a significant amount of time that might just make it unfeasible in terms of getting any kind of temporary usage for that fire station. So that's something I think people need to understand.
But I would also like to add in the fact that that building has a storage shed on the exterior rear of the property, which would actually have to be removed to be code compliant to be sold as a single family home. So that's an additional expense we'd have to come up with too.
Could we put a storage, I call them air sheds? Do we have, because we're in a flood zone, all right? And could we move, if we did sell that house on Cedar, could we erect a storage shed because we're in a flood zone? I know because the house is attached, we can do millions of different things because it's already grandfathered in, but just my golf area where I play golf in Dunedin, when we tore down the storage shed there, we now cannot erect it because it's in a flood zone. So if we tried to tear that house down and move a utility shed someplace on City Hall's property, can we actually do that?
It's a good question. I did look into the Florida Communities Trust grant, because that's where the land came from, and then as long as, if we build a maintenance facility and it follows the maintenance plan for that park, it's allowable. We just have to, I guess, apply for it. I do not know as far as flood code, just go around for the purpose of a municipality kind of,
Yeah, because everything was set to go where I was just talking about, and FEMA came in and said no.
yeah, I'd have to.
And I'm not saying that would happen here, I'm just asking, you know, if we ended up doing selling that house, because how much money did we get back from our insurance on the house? It was all the top,
70 something. So then we got, that was for the structure, and then we got some contents on top of that.
Do you have anything else? No. Any questions or comments for the city manager as a follow-up to his follow-up?
I'm going to ask a question, and it's just for the benefit of the citizens. There was the cost of rehabbing the house. The money is coming from the funds we received from the insurance company, plus the fire district's paying for the difference. And we expect it to be somewhere around how much money? It was like just like
Yeah.
170 or something.
We haven't worked it out, but we at the city collected enough insurance reimbursement to cover restoring the structure, and then, you know, depending on what.
And they would do all the
ultimate plan-
interior build out that
Yes.
needed to be done. So there was just statements or things being said that the city's paying for it, and that is not the fact. That is not, those are not the facts, so I just wanted to clarify that.
But I think I heard the resident say that it was the cost they were talking about, or the things that would, when you have to undo it to sell it. It was not about them making it, it was more about the other costs to make it ready once they're done with it.
And that's what counts. Vice Mayor Roberts.
Yeah, I was just going to confirm what Alana just said, that my understanding was, once the, quote, fire build-out was completed, then that's something we'd have to take a look at. Would we want to change that if the city decided to sell the property? Or would we want to take out whatever additions were done specifically for the fire department? Would that make it less attractive to sell to a homeowner? And maybe it wouldn't. Maybe we wouldn't take it out. I don't know at this time. Yes, sir.
It's my understanding that the building does not have a shower or restroom facility in it currently, so it would probably be pretty difficult to sell as a residence without those features, which the district would pay to have put in. So, and just for clarification to our firefighters, we're 24-hour shifts, not 12.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll just say that was my understanding, is there was all the finish work that we don't have the money in a budget to do. We don't have those funds available to finish the interior, whether they're sleeping arrangements or a kitchen, or a bathroom. Those are things needed in any structure, whether it's used for an office or a home.
Right, and just listening to this conversation and knowing how many of the residents feel, I think that it would actually be a temporary inconvenience for a permanent upgrade that could be sold later. So if we decide to move forward with this, wait until we get our new fire station, and then we do the referendum and see if the citizens approve us selling the property. All good things to think about. Also, I think it would be a good idea to actually see some plans of what they were actually wanting to do with the building, because if there's just a big, you know, bathroom stall and a giant deep sink, that's not really doing much for a home. But all good things to think about, and we'll see how the vote goes for the rest of the month.
Can I address the question that was raised about the sale of the property?
Sure.
So there is section 9.04 of your charter. It's titled Limitation on Alienation of City-Owned Real Property. It's one sentence long, and it reads, "Parks and public lands may not be sold, leased, traded, or given away by the city unless such sale, lease, trade, or gift is approved by the vote of the electors of the city of Bel Air Beach."
Okay.
Just real quick, can I follow?
I'm sorry?
I think that was the plan all along, Kyle, right? Was that the question was to basically be able to put it on the ballot, not to just go off and sell it, right? That's what the purpose of the
If
question
selling
was.
it was the direction we wanted to go, we'd have to know.
Right.
if they're-
It was being put on the question with that as the intent to put it on the ballot.
Yeah, the reason why it's on the ballot to begin with is because there have been quite a few people express that why don't we just sell it?
Right.
Because that's what we were supposed to do in the first place.
Right.
So, anything else on this topic, and do you have any more comments?
That's all.
All right, everybody good? All right, well, in that case, let's move on to the consent agenda. This is for approval of the January 5th, 2025 City Council meeting minutes and approval of the January 26th, 2025 City Council work session minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve as written proposed.
Motion is made by Frank Baker. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'm going to give that one to Vice Mayor Roberts. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the consent agenda is approved. All right, now we are on to the regular agenda. This is for consideration of award of bid B25-03 for the 8th Street Stormwater Rehab Project to Shenandoah General Construction LLC. Mr. Riefler, you're up.
Thank you. So this bid was done because we wanted to try to see if we could get lower pricing than piggybacking a contract that already existed with Remington Shore. And we knew just from collecting some quotes prior the general cost that this was going to be. Shenandoah was actually one of the quotes we received that was one of the lowest, but it was still over our bid threshold. So we went out to bid in hopes that we'd save money, and it looks like we'll save about $10,000 by doing so. But we're paying a little more. I imagine just for the fact that they had to bid it and put the time and effort into it, it might increase the cost some. But we got 11 bids, 11 responsible bids turned in, and 2 of them were again lower than the $50,000. Very close in amounts. I provided the bid tabulation so you can see it, and then the Gemini Engineering did a thorough review of each submission packet to make sure that the experience and just references and everything was there checked off. So after reviewing that, they said the lowest bidder would be the deciding factor. They thought that they were both qualified. So I included the Shenandoah bid package. I was going to include the Inliner Solutions, but our packet size was getting quite a bit large. It was about 100 pages. But I can provide that to the council if they'd like to compare those two. And then Gemini, they wrote an evaluation memorandum to support their recommendation.
All right, thank you, Mr. Riefler. Before we go to the council, let's go to the citizens. Would anyone like to comment on this topic? All right, citizen comments are now closed. Council, I'm going to need a motion to award the bid B25-03 for the 8th Street Stormwater Rehab Project to Shenandoah General Construction LLC. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion is made by, Kim Shaw Elliott. All right, do I have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Harper. Council, questions?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
This is a matter that has been extensively bid. That's nice that we got a very nice range and many numbers of bids in here. We've had the evaluation of our engineers. The report is very favorable with the proposed Shenandoah General Construction. It looks as though the other bid, close bid, which was only a couple $100 difference, but got mixed reviews from feedback from their customers. So I think the Shenandoah presents the lowest and best bid.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments on this? Yes.
Go ahead. Just a quick question, Kyle. I noticed on the unit prices, and this is for my information, it showed that the cured in place pipe liner for the 15-inch pipe was more expensive than the 18-inch. Is there a reason for that? That makes any sense?
Just do what's available as far as material. I know they have to order all this stuff and keep it refrigerated right before the job, so they don't keep it in stock most of the time.
All right.
But I don't know. I'd have to ask why that difference is there.
Hey, if you just ask me, just curiosity, it doesn't seem logical, but maybe a specific reason for it.
Could be the quantity.
Pardon?
The quantity.
Yeah, the length of the
Yeah,
pipe.
yeah, they've got,
Yeah.
it's 302 linear feet versus the 18 or whatever, or 28 for the other.
Councilmember Baker.
How many total yard feet are we replacing
Do you
here?
mind speaking into the
Oh,
microphone?
I'm sorry, how many total feet are we replacing?
330,
330 feet?
or lining. We're not replacing lining.
I'm sorry, lining. I don't have a problem with cured in place lining. It's pretty durable. It lasts about 30 years. The problem I have is about 5, 6 years ago, 8th Street, 7th Street was redone, and those pipes should have been removed. I spoke to some of the contractors that were looking to bid this job, and they said that we don't know why you didn't remove this. I gave a whole belly full of arguments about our engineering firm back in December. Some of just the shoddy engineering plans I believe they presented to this council. $41,000 that we're spending for this, we could have replaced all those pipes at that price. And we would have had new concrete pipes. Not saying the cured in place liners aren't good. I just think we really need to look at another engineering company. That's all.
Other comments?
Kyle, was that the engineering firm we used way back when we did it?
No, it was,
It was a different engineering.
yes.
Larry Flutie sold
Yeah,
it to.
Engineering Science Group, I think it was called. And then Larry had some health issues, he had to discontinue, and then when he came back, he started working on Gemini Insurance and on their team. And then, we got Gemini. So, outside of the extent that Larry kind of brought him up to speed with his history, they're their own firm and different than what it was.
Okay. So you're saying it's different?
Yeah, Gemini has their own history with a company history and experience, so we just happen to merge.
Okay.
Anyone else? All right, just because it's a lot of money, let's just go ahead and take this to a vote. Would you mind calling the roll, please?
Sure. Councilmember Frank Baker.
I live on 8th Street, so I'll abstain.
Councilmember Kimberly Shaw Elliott.
Yes.
Councilmember Todd Harper.
Yes.
Councilmember Jody Shirley.
Aye.
Councilmember Anders Wellings.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Lloyd Roberts.
Aye.
Mayor Dave Gaddis.
Aye. All right, so it passes somewhat unanimously. Mr. Riefler, you may proceed. All right, now we are up to item number 12, which is making it legal. So, Tom, would you mind taking this one?
I'd be happy to, Mayor. So under section 9.02 of your city charter, all charter officers are to take an oath of office. So we need to do that for Kathy. And so I'm going to have Kathy raise her right hand and repeat after me. So Kathy, state your name.
Kathy Thornsberry.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
honor, protect, and defend
honor, protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and government of the United States
and government of the United States
and the state of Florida,
and the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office
to hold office
under the Constitution of the state
under the Constitution of the state
and under the Charter of the City of Bel Air Beach,
and under the Charter of the City of Bel Air Beach,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully perform
and faithfully perform
the duties of the city clerk
the duties of the city clerk
on which I am now
on which I am now
about to enter.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Please sign the oath of office and date it, and then have it notarized by, who can notarize that here?
We have 3 in the office, so.
Good. Okay, well, I'll notarize it then because they're not here.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Thank you, Mayor, that's it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, now we're on to unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business? No? All right, now we're on city council comments. I'm just going to start from the left and work to the right. So Kim Shaw, affiliate.
None tonight. I wish everybody a good evening.
All right, Councilmember Shirley.
Just thank you all for your participation and coming to the meeting. And I appreciate hearing your voices and knowing that there's actually someone paying attention, so thank you. And I wish everyone, a great month, and hopefully it runs up soon.
Councilmember Harper.
I just want to thank, again, I want to thank everybody for their participation. I think we've got a number of important items on the agendas, either workshops or coming agendas, so I would encourage your continued participation. We don't know unless we hear from you, so the more we hear from you in these meetings or feedback or email or whatever, it's appreciated. So that's it.
Thank you. All right, let's see, Anders.
Yes, thanks for everyone coming, and I appreciate all the comments. I remember we got, one of the letters came in regarding the fire station in this voting process, and I know one of them I thought I really kind of took to heart was like, you know, maybe we should think, just trying to be as fair and as sensitive to the residents that this most affects, that maybe we could come up with some ways of maybe adding more weight to certain votes, like maybe certain residents that live closest to this that are most impacted, maybe their votes could count a little bit more, maybe we could double it. I don't know, we've had a chance to talk about that, but that's something that I'd be interested in pursuing, just to, because I understand that some residents are going to be more impacted this way than others. So, yeah, otherwise, thanks for coming.
Thank you. Councilmember Baker.
Well, the groundhog stuck it to us again, so 6 more weeks of winter. That's all I have to say.
Vice Mayor Roberts.
Yes, thank you. Our city clerk mentioned the Health and Wellness Fair that's going to be in March, and I apologize, do you know the exact date?
March 7th.
The 7th, March the 7th. It's something in the past that has been pretty well attended by our citizens. So I'm asking you guys that are here tonight, as well as those that are watching, if you know anybody, any business, any professional that you work with that you think may come under this title, if you could check with them and see if they would be interested, and either yourself or they can contact Kathy or Patricia Roberts, who she mentioned earlier, who I know fairly well. So you can contact her or myself, and I can pass that along to her. So we've got a fairly decent number that has already responded and are going to participate. But any additional is always welcome, as long as we don't get too many. But it's been helpful to the businesses as well, is my understanding, where they have told us that they got additional business from citizens here. We've also had citizens thank us because they were able to meet somebody at the fair that ended up helping them. So just wanted to let you guys know about that. Anything you can do to help would be appreciated. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. There's a lot going on right now. I cannot believe that it's already been a month since I put my Christmas tree away. I mean, time is flying. There's a lot going on, not only in our state, but also in the country, and there's a lot of craziness right now. So everyone, please stay vigilant, and no matter what side of the aisle you're on, don't fall for the hype, and don't get tripped up and wrapped up into it. remember that what matters most is what's here in Bel Air Beach. And at the end of the day, we just want to live together, be happy and healthy, and it's cold right now. So if you have neighbors, especially elderly neighbors that you've not seen or spoken with in a few days, it might not be a bad idea to knock on their door and see how they're doing. Make sure that they are warm and they've got everything they need. And that's all I have for the night. So,
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes.
I think we've got something, sorry.
We have a citizen, or well, not a citizen, but someone who wants to speak who is on Zoom right now for the lien reduction that I think you were all filled in on an email.
Okay, it was supposed to be during citizen comments, but I tell you what, we'll give her 3 minutes.
Hello,
Yes,
can you hear me?
yes.
Also, I'm so sorry. I tried raising my hand during citizens' comments. I apologize. I was under the impression that this entire thing was via Zoom, so that is on me. I apologize.
No worries. Please give us your name and your address, and then let's hear what you have to say.
Absolutely. My name is Sophia Bond, and I am here on behalf of my client, Pamela Zaremba. My address is 324 South Hyde Park Avenue, Suite 325, Tampa, Florida, 33606.
Please proceed.
Thank you. So as you know, my name is Sophia Bond, and I'm an attorney here on behalf of Pamela Zaremba. We are asking for a refund of a lien of $8,706.25 that was put on Ms. Zaremba's property due to a code violation. I know we don't have a ton of time, so I'll make a long story short. Ms. Zaremba was appointed as executor of estate of a relative who passed away in 2024. This made her in charge of a property in Bel Air. In September and October of 2024, as we all know, Florida was impacted by Hurricanes Helene and Milton. This caused some damage to Ms. Zaremba's new property and led to some code violations concerning her dog, her pool, and her yard. However, Ms. Zaremba never received any proper notice of these violations or notice of any hearings about these violations. Although she provided the city with her mailing address, she was not given any proper notice as per Ordinance 1088 of any violation, hearing, or fines. There was a hearing on July 16, 2025, which she was not aware and not provided the meeting minutes that fines were imposed. She was made aware of these code violations and fines in October 2025 via an email and immediately resolved the violations. In fact, she had been working on them the entire time, and the repairs could not have been made any quicker, but they have since been completely resolved as of October 2025. On January 13, 2026, there was a second hearing on the violations in which the magistrate, after hearing the facts of this case, awarded a 75% reduction of the lien placed on her property. Notably, this was the most that she could award to my client at that hearing as per the ordinance. Today, we are asking that you award the other 25% reduction by refunding the lien that she paid. Ms. Zaremba paid this lien, and we feel that as a matter of public policy, that was the right thing to do at the time. However, Ms. Zaremba had no proper notice of these fines and did everything she could to fix the issues promptly, and therefore should not have had to pay that lien. We anticipate that the city will require some administrative fees, and Ms. Zaremba has no problem with that. That's all for me. If anyone has any questions, I'm here to answer them, and beyond that, I yield my time to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barnes. Council, do you want to discuss this at all, or?
What address are we talking about?
Okay, Kyle, would you mind giving us the backstory?
It's 1903 Bay Shore. It had some code violations. The address on the tax website and the property appraiser website was, I guess, a very, very old address. Still once belonged to the owner's parents. It never was changed. So we were sending everything to that address. At some point, Deputy Trump was given another address. It never got relayed. And we continue to follow what the code says by sending to the address on the tax appraiser website. So when we held the hearing, the owner was aware of the hearing because she did have a representative. I think it was her former tenant show up and represent her at the hearing. Afterwards, we thought it was clear, and the order was again mailed just to the address on file. But we did not mail the order to the other address that was given to Deputy Chuck Park. So when we did the lien reduction hearing, magistrate, she deemed that the notice was correct for the first hearing, and that the order was given correctly, but then at some point, which we couldn't find in our code, where it's required to mail it anywhere else than the address of the tax appraiser, so we continued to send it there, and then found out after the fact, once the fines started accumulating, that the owner was not aware that she was being fined. So at that point, we had already recorded a lien, so then we just followed the process, which was our lien reduction hearing at that point.
And how long had this property been listed incorrectly on the property or appraiser's website?
It says early 2000s is what I can tell. It's been it's an old address.
And how are they paying their taxes?
The time that I looked at the tax history, the taxes were paid from early. So the sale's gone through and everything has been settled. But prior to that, I wasn't aware of it.
So what I'm hearing is that they just completely neglected their responsibility to
again, we didn't know. We thought that this person that was representing the former tenant, we thought that he was going to understand, comprehend the information, give it to the owner immediately after, and we sent the order to the address we had. Looking back, I wish we sent it to this other address. I wish I was aware of it, but at the time we weren't, or at least I wasn't, and I guess she never got noticed. So by the time we kind of reached out, we were like, this is running. This is where you're at right now, as far as the fines, and at that point, she said she didn't know she was being fined.
Do you feel like you were at fault?
I had no knowledge, up front. I just followed what we typically do, which is always send it to what is listed on the tax appraiser. But I didn't know.
Vice Mayor Roberts?
I have a couple of questions. I guess at the magistrate hearing, were you there?
I was not. I was away.
Okay, good. I read the email. So the magistrate awarded the maximum that she could.
I was at the lien reduction hearing.
Okay, I'm sorry. So you were at that. So
Not
she,
the original.
okay. So she opted for the maximum reduction of 75%. Did you get, and then she said, apparently put in the email, that in order for her to get anything more than that, she would have to ask the council. Okay. So did you get any feeling, I'm just curious, had she had the ability to go beyond the 75% based on the conversations that took place there? Did you feel like she would have been in favor of that? Did she feel like she felt like the facts really showed that this particular situation, and things happen, that maybe she didn't feel there should have been, that she had to pay these penalties because of the circumstances? So do you feel like if she had the ability to say 100%, possibly she would have done that?
Maybe minus what
the administrative fees, yeah. So right now, the difference is that 8,000 and a couple of hundred, but we would be able to say our administrative fees are X, and we want to at least get that. Okay. So what do we have to do, if any? It sounds like the council kind of has it in our hands now.
Right. I wouldn't take any action as the council.
Do we have to make that decision tonight?
No, we don't. We're just having a short conversation.
Sure.
Because I allowed it.
Okay.
Will you make a motion to waive everything except $1,000?
No. Well, they've already waived 75%. There's 8,000.
My suggestion is that you schedule this for an agenda item at the next regular council meeting that you have with the backup information from city staff as to what the out-of-pocket expenses are, so that you can make an informed decision on exactly what those expenses were incurred and use that as an offset. But I would tell you that the special magistrate order made she made a specific finding, and I'm going to read it to you. The respondent, by reason of foregoing facts, did not receive proper notice of the notice of code violation, notice of hearing, notice of noncompliance, and action on the notice of noncompliance in second order. It's clear to me that she would have dismissed the case or found little or no fine based upon that finding, because that's a legal finding.
Could she take us to court and sue us for this?
So what would happen is that she has until February 13th to file an appeal of the last order. Otherwise, that is her only action at this point. She would have to do that. And
So she could go after us for court costs if she was to do that?
well, she wouldn't really have any court costs other than a filing fee.
You know, I hate whenever you ask these questions in a public meeting. I wish you would just ask the attorney one-on-one.
Well, it's the taxpayers' money, and I'm trying to protect the taxpayers' money, which I'm a taxpayer. So if we're worried about $8,000, okay, when the judge already said I'd give you 75%, and as Kyle was saying, as Mr. Roberts asked him, you think they'd give 100%? As our attorney said, most probably, are we putting ourselves on the hook here for a lousy $8,000 because we want to stick it to somebody with our code? I think it's just wrong.
Classic.
Yes,
Anyone
it is
else?
classic.
We'll table this and discuss it in detail at another meeting, but as we prepare for that meeting, I would like some information as to why the fines were issued. My understanding is that we're talking about a code violation, so something happened that was bad, and I assume that fines were increasing because the initial fine was not paid timely. So let's talk about what was the initial fine, what was it for, and what is the penalty that is accruing or has accrued. So in any event, it's somewhere along the line, there was a violation that was allowed to occur.
We have a work session later in the month. My recommendation would be to take it to the work session where we have all the facts, and you can send us all the information in a nicely formatted email, and so we're armed with information because I'm not one way or the other. I just want to make sure that we're doing the right thing. All right. With that being said, I think that's all we've got for tonight. So I will ask for a motion to adjourn. Motion's made by Frank Baker. Do we have a second?
Second.
Was that Councilmember Shirley?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Good night, everyone.